Hey again.
Hey again. I know it's a weird thing. It should be just like let people talk for as long as they want. Damn it.
Yeah.
Um, whatever. Um, I can't remember where we were at. Yeah, it was just taking responsibility and accountability for the shit you like and the shit you
Yeah,
project. You know what I mean?
definitely.
Yeah. And I think like with uniform, like you guys are very like I feel like there's this political side and there's also there's this anger side and um but I think it's like really well thought out, like, and the way that you write your lyrics and things, they really are expressive of how people feel, you know what I mean? And like,
Mm.
people get it because it's like, especially I think even with just the industrial noise, people get it, and understand like that feeling. It's even like Youth Code. When I watched them, it's the same thing. Like you feel you feel that anger too, and you can, like, it comes out. It's like, everything, classism and like racism and like everything that you're mad at. And like,
Mm.
I think the way, like, yeah, you guys like really do a good job of like doing that in a good way. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And projecting it in a positive way that kind of, I guess, teaches people a little bit. Like, it's like, you're not like this white dude who's like, I'm preaching like this stuff, but you're like, hey, check yourself. You
I
know what
mean,
I mean?
it's weird because if you'd asked me 10 years ago, kind of like what I like thought about, I very much considered my music at the time to be very like apolitical.
Yeah.
And as time's gone on, in particular, it's just been a hell of a hell of a past decade. But it's always been the case, though. I just now aware of the fact that you don't really have the luxury being a human being in the world and say you don't have politics.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
like if you
Like
wake
when
up and
people are
you
like,
yeah
yeah, you don't
like
care about this or that, or we're kind
yeah
of past that point now where it's like
yeah
apathy was like 90s. This isn't the 90s anymore. Like, now we need to actually like start thinking like, hey, what the fuck, you
well
can't
it's
just.
I mean, I feel like even if I was trying to just kind of say whatever, I don't care. It's like, what am I going to write songs about? Fucking like food and romance? Like, what the fuck else? I don't have anything else going on. Like,
Yeah.
so, the world's kind of going up in fucking in plumes of smoke, and
Yeah.
like it impacts every facet of everyday life. Like, you're going to inadvertently wind up writing about fucking politics because that's the life you're fucking living,
Yeah.
and i I never it, it's weird. I'm aware of the fact that we're like a forward facing band and we have a platform, and it's something that I try to be conscious and use for positive purposes.
Yeah.
um but at the same time, it's yeah, I I'm also kind of 40-year-old white dude, not what do I know? And
Yeah.
with whatever we have, being this, it's a lot of the times now, it's especially at at the moment, it's not even so much just a matter of oh, it's time for me to shut up and just shut up and listen. It's more more often than not, it's hey, it's time for me to pass the mic to somebody else, like because I've been taking up a whole lot of space for a whole lot of years.
Yeah.
And you know um like the world's in a strange place right now. Like there's some heavy societal growing pains, and we're definitely going through some shit. But I think that eventually, like the humanity, if we don't fucking implode, we're gonna
Yeah.
wind up somewhere much better.
Yeah,
I don't.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Like we've had like similar, I mean, weird situations where like our government over here has given people money for COVID.
Yeah.
So basically, you get $3,000 a month
That's great.
for 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So like, but the thing is like normally you would get way less than half of that if you were getting government money. And
Yeah.
but now there's like all of these like middle class and like upper class people who've lost their job because of COVID, and they've
Mhm.
never gotten the dole before or whatever, and they've always looked down on people who are on it, and now they're having to go on it, and they're like complaining like this is not enough money to survive.
Yeah.
Like and like so things are getting like so they upped it and stuff, and it's all because of these richer people who are now like this is not enough, and it's like but they were happy before for everybody else to be way below poverty line and getting like way less than half than that. There's no issue then, but now that there's actually like people that are middle upper, they're like this is just like not livable, we need to change this, like we need to have a petition, like la la la, and it's like no one gave a fuck for the last like 30 years, and
Yeah.
now suddenly because it affects people who deemed like respectable people, like
Mm.
now oh maybe we should look at like upping it a little bit, and it's like oh fuck me, like like it takes that to get someone to actually go, oh yeah, that's not a lot of money. Like, and it's really frustrating because people have been saying it for years and years and years and years. But
Yeah.
until that person up high, like has a complaint, no one cares. So that's been a really interesting like class fight over here, where it's
Mm-hmm.
been like, hey, you guys have been fine fixing everyone before, and now
Yeah.
you suddenly better. Like, hey, no, that's not cool. Like, it's like if you want more than that, then it needs to stay that forever for everybody. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So yeah, there's kind of like that whole argument going on at the moment where I think at some point Parliament's going to have a talk about upping it. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if it happens past
Yeah.
like COVID, whether it actually makes any difference. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like people getting. I know that like comparatively to the rest of the world, we're getting the best financial help than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really to complain, but it's more about that after effect of when COVID's over and things go back to normal. Like when that 6 months rolls around, like all of those people will be back to getting like $1,200 a month.
Yeah.
And not being able to, and like 70% of that money goes to their rent, and then they're
Mm.
supposed to somehow eat, pay bills, do whatever with that small portion left. So yeah, and that's like a massive thing that's going on now. And then of course like with Black Lives Matter, like that's happening over in America, then that sparked a massive thing here with our Indigenous people as well.
Yeah. I
Like
can imagine.
like because we've like like it's no we obviously not me personally, but we as a country have been so negligent in telling truth And in like, you know, it's like it took forever for the government just to say sorry. All they had to say was the word sorry, and it took forever. Like, you know, so it's like really, that's, you know, there's like so many deaths in custody of Indigenous Australians. And so that's something that's now come up, and there's like huge protests and like petitions and all that kind of shit going on for that, which has all been sparked by Black Lives Matter as well. And also, like, you know, like just like being honest. Yeah, like we stole your fucking country.
Yeah.
And said it was ours. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for that. Like, you know, and then we tried to destroy like everything that you stood for and everything you believed in. Like, it's like, yeah, you just need to acknowledge that. It's an acknowledgement that we took someone else's thing and we just said it was ours.
Yeah.
And you know, like Captain Cook did it with a lot of places. It wasn't just here. But like, you know, it was like, and also it was kind of like dumb as well. I'm sure you know, like, it was all the convicts that were sent to Australia.
Yeah.
So it was all white convicts that they had no room in jails for. So it's like they populated the country with criminals that they weren't, I mean, who knows whether they were bad or just like I stole a loaf of bread. Like, but they were, you know, it was just a mixture of whatever. And then they made them do menial tasks like to build the country and all that sort of thing. And, you know, yeah. And then like you see photos, you know, walking Aboriginal, like Indigenous Australians in chains on their neck and their feet and everything.
Yeah.
And they're like shocked that like this, no, what? Keeps trying to call me. Yeah, and like, you know, you didn't get taught that. I didn't get taught that until I think university. Like, you're not taught any of that stuff. You taught like basically that Captain Cook came here and there was nothing here. You know what I mean? And he like made it into something. Like, and yeah, so it's really like, you know, and we don't get to like, we're trying to get like Aboriginal studies put in like as a proper subject in school, like, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
Because it's just ridiculous that it's like parts of history have just been taken out of the book. Like, and you know, now I think it's finally starting to be in there, but like, you know, when I was a kid, there was definitely nothing in there about Aboriginals. Or if you ever found anything, it was like natives and that they were like, would just, you know, attack you, or like, you know, sort of very animalistic and like not true sort of thing. Like, and you'd be like, and it's like, when I was working in publishing, I was saying to a friend, China, for example, and there's some others as well in the Asian region, they would, if they publish anything in history, they want the war taken out.
Yeah.
Because they want their people to believe that they won. So they actually take that entire chapter out and rewrite it and put it in, saying that they won.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, like, yeah. And like,
I mean,
things like that just blows my mind that you can't just take things out. It's the same with drives me mental with like all the crazy Bible Belt in America, where they're taking out science out of the Bible.
like, I mean, there's straight up people who like believe that like human beings and dinosaurs walked together like 2,000 years ago. Like that, like it's absurd. And yeah, the whitewashing of history here is, you know, is really pretty hideous. I mean, I was born in 1980, and I have vivid memories of this, and it was significantly worse even before
We're the
then.
same age.
the 39, 40.
39,
Yep.
turning 40.
Hell yeah.
1980, baby.
Yep. I'm turning 40 very, very soon. But
That's okay. I'll let
yeah.
you turn first.
When's your birthday?
End of September.
When?
30th.
22nd.
Ah! See? Legends.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, such a big part of Americana was like this whole cowboys and like cowboys fighting natives tropes, and like the natives were like savages, and the cowboys are like, you have this fucking like John Wayne, like good noble character. And I mean, the fact, like, I mean, we were still they were still being referred to, like, it was radical to refer to indigenous people in North America as Native Americans, like by the time, like, while I was still in high school, like you were still like saying, like, like using racial pejoratives for them as like the norm. And I mean, Christopher Columbus is like a celebrated cultural figure, like in a lot of circles still, and like he's only really started to be like questioned in a real public facing way within the past few years, it seems like. I remember there being Columbus Day protests in the 90s, like the late 90s, but I remember them being very small and being, people just kind of like rolling their eyes at them, but now it seems like there's been a sea change, like as far as attitudes go, and like it's a good thing. It's painful to admit like that, like you've benefited from a system that like is stacked in your favor to subjugate all these other human beings. And I understand why, my parents' generation, and hell, like a lot of people in our generation, get fucking defensive about this shit. But like, I don't know. It's so tremendously necessary. Like, I don't know. Like, we're living in a complicated time, but like it's really beautiful in so many ways. And I'm cautiously optimistic about where the human race is going. And yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I hope so. Like, even just talking about, from like you were saying, a new child to now. Like, I was really, really poor, and I lived in the like indigenous housing projects. So I was around indigenous people my entire life. So for me, like, I feel like, not that I have a valid point of view in any way, but at least I have relationships with these people, like, and then I see see people like, like saying horrible things, or sometimes like trying to play the martyr, like the white martyr, that I love all indigenous da 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 da, and they've never met an indigenous person, or like they're like just trying to play white martyr, that I'm gonna stick up for them, but they've never even met one, like, and it's like, or been a part of a community where it is, really. And so it's like, where I grew up, they were all my neighbours. It was Indigenous Australia and immigrants. So a lot of Turkish, you know, and like, we all lived together and we all had the common, I don't know, there was no racism in that area. It was outside of that area. Like, you know, when we'd get to school or, you know, whatever, that's when it would erupt, you know. But like in that area, we all had the one thing where it was like, we are all poor as fuck. And that's what we
Yeah.
bonded on. You know, we bonded on the fact that we were all fucking poor and pretty much all of us had broken homes. You know, so you just like, it was like that. I was fortunate that color never was a thing for me, you know, but unfortunately for my relatives, a lot of them, and I see to this day, and I don't deal with them, but there's quite a lot of relatives of mine that are very racist still, like, you
Yeah.
know, but I never, I don't know, I guess it was good that way. I just never grew up thinking that way. And I, you know,
Yeah.
my best friend in primary school was Indigenous. Yeah, and I was really sad when her parents pulled her out of school because it doesn't matter in like that her parents were like, it doesn't matter in our culture,
Yeah.
school, like white people school. So like they ended up pulling her out, and it was, yeah, I was really shitty, you know, like, because it was like, but you know, you got to kind of deal with that thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, I was fortunate, but yeah, I couldn't compare that in any way to the situation that you guys have got,
I
because it's
mean,
such a wide scale, like, you know what I mean?
we have like the worst kind of shit. I mean, everybody's got like rugged shit in different ways.
Yeah.
Our shit, like, you know, I like, I'm Irish Catholic, and so like you got some fucking like super overt racists in my family, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mo- mo- Most of them have fucking died off now, but like it's a thing that exists.
Yeah.
What's worse in so many ways is just like we had like the fucking insidious like racists who don't think that they're racists. Like that's like the majority
Yeah.
of my family, and like
Yeah. Yeah.
people who have like these
Yeah.
fucking white savior complexes. Like it's like oh yeah, well like I like build houses for Habitat for Humanity on the weekend so that I can fucking tell people at the office how good I am. Like while I'm
Yeah.
standing with
Yeah.
all these like white people around the water cooler, and you know, it's like that's the kind of shit that like we're we're really like now. I feel like as like a society becoming more like becoming aware of, you know, for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, you know, hopefully like starting to kind of like do something about. Um, but yeah, it's a weird time, man. But you know, yeah, I'm really grateful
Yeah.
for it.
Massively. So yeah. So what can we expect like on the new album? And what's it like, you know, what is kind of informed the new album? I guess, is it everything that's we've kind of talked about, or like, you know?
Yeah, a lot of that. It is kind of based on like painful introspection. Like I had like a lot of I was in just kind of like a not so great headspace around the time we started writing this, and I'd kind of
Mm-hmm.
come to realize that I was like blaming a lot of people in my extended circle for problems kind of going on in my life,
Yeah.
and not taking direct accountability and not working on the things that like I could work on myself. Instead of just I was just pointing a whole lot of fingers. And you know, one day it kind of just, you know, like it hit me that like I couldn't do anything about anyone else, that like I'd been feeling this way for a really long time, and So the record is basically about like kind of like the origins of like personal cynicism,
Mm-hmm.
and just like cynicism as like a defense mechanism that like you kind like, at least for me, that like I kind of grew into, and
Yep.
how like just just how much that that shaped my life. Um, so the record, it's called Shame, and it's
Ooh, you've gone a little
yeah.
bit blurry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Uh, the record's called Shame, um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's basically just about like self acknowledgement of yeah, it's about like self acknowledgement and like personal accountability more than anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. I can
it's
definitely relate with the yeah with the
you know,
personal accountability thing, because I think everyone to some extent does it. And I went through a period where I was, it was like blaming everybody else,
yeah,
for shit that I was perpetuating myself, and just didn't realize I was perpetuating it myself. You know what I mean? And you
totally,
kind of like, but because you're in it, you don't, sometimes you need, I'm lucky I've got like a few good friends that just will slap me up the head and go, dude, like,
totally,
you're doing this to yourself, like,
yeah.
so yeah, definitely. I don't know why you've gone blurry. Maybe your Wi-Fi's
I
gone
I don't know
funny.
either. My internet's okay. Is it still blurry?
Hmm.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, maybe if I move over. Any better?
Yeah, that's better. It is getting better. Yeah, that's better.
Okay,
Just
cool,
wait for
cool,
it.
cool. Yeah, no, my internet here is weird. Um, but yeah, so I'm excited for the record. And you know, I'm curious what people might think of it. You know,
Hmm.
it's a lot different than a lot of the stuff that we've made before, but in a lot of ways it's like the same. It's more of like an amalgam of everything we've kind of like done
Done.
before. Like, you
Do
know,
you
kind of
get
like
do you get nervous about that? Like when you release something, you get nervous about it. Like what?
terrified, fucking
Yeah.
fucking terrified. You know, I'd
I'm
love
glad. I'm glad that you say that, because often a lot of people are like, "Meh, it's my
no,
work," and it's like I'm like not bothered at all what people think. And it's like, I always think, fuck, even if I just do, like, if I put like a piece of poetry out there, I'm like, oh man, if people fucking bomb it,
yeah,
like, it's gonna kill me. You know what I mean? Like, and I just wait, like, with my eyes half open, like, like thinking,
dude, totally.
yeah,
I mean,
you're putting a piece
anything,
of your like soul and your life out there.
yeah, like anything that involves like, yeah, some kind of like vulnerability, especially like public vulnerability. Um, it's like, it, yeah, I'd love to be like, so callous to be like, oh, I don't care, or like, oh, people's opinions don't mean anything to me. Um,
Mm.
but like, no, I mean, everything in my life when it comes to dealing with other human beings is a terrifying experience.
Yeah.
And so like, it's like, it's
I
like,
do love that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard enough for me to walk my dog and say hi to my fucking neighbors. It's gonna be fucking excruciating to put out a fucking record, like it's just. But
How do you then like what do you do then? Like, like when I saw you guys like live, like, and you're like right there at the merch desk, and obviously like you can kind of disconnect and sell merch or whatever. But then after the show, you know, is when all the like nerdos come over and they all want, you know, and they all want to talk like all about it and like how do you deal with that like without like freaking the fuck out and being like, I can't do this and running off. Like, 'cause I sometimes I don't like being in a crowd, and I often go to shows on my own.
Yeah.
And I'll like find a nook where I feel like there's a bit of a bubble. You know what I mean? And like, I definitely have bouts of both, like of social phobia and like just people in general. Like I just don't, you know.
Totally.
So like, and I know how draining that is. So like, what do you do? I guess like to. I mean, if it was me, I'd just be like, take a shitload of Xanax and then
Yeah.
be like, hello, how are you? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I would struggle. Like, I mean, I'm an up and down person. So if I'm in an up mood, I'll be like, woo, yeah, talk. But if I'm in not that mood, it'll be like,
Yeah.
it's
No,
just not going
definitely.
to happen.
I like to be honest, like it is a struggle. But I like doing it. I like being around like the merch table area because it it forces me to talk to people because
To talk to them.
like otherwise I'll just be like in the van by myself or I'll
Yeah.
be like in the green room by myself and like it's like completely isolating because I
Yeah.
like isolating. I'm comfortable in isolation, but it's not good for me. So,
Yeah.
and I know it's not good for me. Um, and so like, so yeah, like I make it a point to like do merch and like if people want to talk to me, then I I want to talk with them too. Cause like, I mean, I'm some fucking dickhead from Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. Like, why would anybody like give like want to give me fucking like 2 seconds of their time? And like the fact that they do, and like it might mean something to them. Like, I don't want to be like fuck me if I'm gonna like be an asshole to them.
Yeah.
So like it's worth it to me. Like yeah, even if I'm uncomfortable, to like
Mm. And
just
they're the people buying your records and going to your shows too. Like these are the people that are keeping you sustained,
yeah.
you know. And
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
exactly.
you know, you sort of see, and you know, you always see like, you know, there's nothing more exciting. I think like numerous tours that I've been helping on or whatever, like seeing that person like that's near the merch desk, kind of like
Mhm.
standing there, anticipating, like dying to speak to you and waiting for that moment, like it brings such joy, like, and it takes 5 seconds. Do you know what I mean? And I feel, you know,
Yeah.
it's like it's worth, like you said, putting yourself through a bit of a pain to be like, hey,
Yeah.
someone actually really, really appreciates my work and appreciates me, you know,
Yeah.
and
I
looks
mean,
up to you and like all of those things. Like, and the least you can do is say hello. You know what I mean?
yeah. Like straight up, like the most that's fucking asked out of you, like at a gig, is to like not be a dick. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's it's not fucking hard. And so yeah, like I have like social phobia issues. Like whatever, suck it up. Like it's fine,
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And like fortunately enough, like I've been around the block enough times to know kind of how to deal with it. And like, yeah, honestly, like there are times where like it is just like too fucking much for me, and like I'll have to
mm-hmm.
like ask someone else to like kind of
Do it.
run that side of shit. But
Yeah,
more times than not, like I try to be like I try to be present and like I try to like just not be a cock.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like so, and like I'm sure that sometimes I am, but um, you know, is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Oh wow. My lovely friend Alan McGee from England has just popped on.
Oh, sick.
I don't know if you know who he is.
I don't think
He's
so.
he's behind Creation Records, behind Oasis.
Oh,
The big man who founded Oasis and all of those Slow Dive, Primal
lovely.
Scream, that
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah. He's a bit of a mentor, good mate of mine. That's cool.
fantastic.
So it's like, hello. Really cool. Yeah, like it's hard when you suffer from shit like that, and then you try and but at least you putting yourself out there in situations like to try and make it a bit more
Yeah.
bearable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get used to it a little bit, and like, like back in the day, it was easy because I would just like, when I partied, it would just like be like whatever, like, I'm drunk, I don't care, and like
Yeah, yeah.
as like, like kind of like when I stopped partying, it got hard,
Harder.
it got real fucking hard for a long time, but at this point, it's just like I accept myself as like a human trying to get through the day, and like I accept other people as human beings trying to get through the day. We're all in this like we're all in this garbage together. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just trying to be cool. And like, for what it's worth, like while I've been at home during COVID, with the exception of very few interactions, I've had the luxury of not having contact with anyone other than my partner and my dog. And
Yeah.
fuck it. That's like,
Yeah.
whatever. It's fine.
That's good. It's like you can have like a refuel. You know what I mean? I think
It's
a
going to
lot of
be like,
people are seeing it as that
yeah,
kind of, especially musicians, like it's a time where they can either work on music or just take a break. I feel
yeah,
like people who are like all like non-stop, and it's
yeah,
like you can just switch it off for a bit and not worry too much about letting go. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, as well. So, what I was going to say is, so the new record then, when's the full record come out?
September 11th,
Ooh, is that
right?
strategic?
No, not at all. It's
Just
just like,
happened that way.
it was just the day that, like, we were trying to get it the week later, but some shit got messed up. Just like logistically, like this is like how it worked out. It was supposed to be the end of August, and then fucking COVID happened, and everything got pushed back like a week
Yeah,
and
yeah,
2 weeks, and like here we are.
yeah.
But
And is this going to be on Sacred Bones?
yeah, Sacred Bones.
Oh, I love Sacred Bones, so
They're wonderful.
I'm glad. Yeah, I think that they're I don't know, they're just so eclectic and just excited about anyone's work. Like,
Yeah,
no matter whatever genre you are, they're just, yeah. Caleb's just on it. I think, yeah.
yeah. We've
And
been
I
very
almost,
fortunate.
I almost love like everything pretty much that he puts on that label. So it's like, yeah, he's pretty damn good at what he does.
He
So
is.
it's a
Yeah,
good label to be on. Like, I kind of feel like it's not a luxury label, but like it's kind of like an art mural. Like, do you know what I mean? It's got that kind of higher level about it.
I
You
mean,
know?
yeah. I mean, it's definitely like more than a boutique label, but it's I really admire the way that Caleb and Brad have curated it, and Carrie. I think that like yeah, it's a really like it's a stable of artists that like I'm really happy to be a part of, and so yeah, I love it there. I love those guys.
Yeah, like I was saying, I think I said it on Twitter or something the other day. I was like, this is hilarious. I was like, this is really stupid and really silly, but Jim Jarmusch just liked my Instagram post, like that was like my Sacred Bones mix, which had him and Joseph, one of their
Yeah.
songs together. And I was like, I feel really silly saying this, but how fucking cool is that?
No,
I was like,
it's sick.
shit, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
and then he's got, of course, you're in company with like, Zola, and you're in company with like, of course, Jim and John Carpenter, like,
Yeah.
among like a bazillion other amazing bands. Like, it's not just them, but like, I mean, some of these people are like royalty almost, like in the, I mean, fuck, just being
Yeah.
on a label with John Carpenter
Yeah.
is
It
enough
doesn't
to make
suck.
me go,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just like, that would be awesome,
Yeah.
like, and yeah, and the palette for yeah, like you said, the stable of artists is amazing. Like, so it opens everybody up to kind of like all these different things, like there's a lot of like ambient, like slow music that like I've discovered through it and been like, man, that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, someone's mentioning David Lynch as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's,
And yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a bad label to be on.
no. They're great people. It's like, yeah, it's a great group of artists there, and like, yeah, like it's an honor to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's just, so then it's just a wait, I guess, till everyone knows what happens with life before you get to tour again.
Yeah,
The album.
it looks like we're going to Europe in February, February 2021. That's probably gonna be the next time we play shows, which will make it like a solid year of being at home.
Yeah.
Which it's been the first time that's happened in a very long time. But
Yeah, we kind of solidly tour quite a lot, and with
yeah,
with good acts too.
we've gotten really lucky with the people we've gotten to tour with. Yeah, we're generally gone for like 6 months out of the year, and like we're fucking home now, like
Yeah.
for real, like, and it's nice, like I'm looking forward to playing again, but I'm enjoying
relishing the isolation.
Yeah.
That's so, yeah, it's great. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know when that kind of stuff's going to come back for us, but yeah, I did see that there's going to open some borders in the UK.
Yeah.
Very soon. So yeah. February looks like a goer.
So it'll be interesting playing Europe before playing the States.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
like,
I think that it might be safer that way.
I think definitely.
You'll be like kind of, yeah, they'll be ready for it by then. So it'll be something that's like not as scary as being like, hey, play here, like, yeah. And that's something that I think that's something that I've always been jealous about with America. Like, you guys get to tour with so many rad bands, and vice versa. Like, if you can pick local bands and stuff and all go on tour together, that doesn't happen here very often.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, it's just like the American band and then usually some local acts that no one wants to watch.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, so we don't get like an amazing lineup of like, you'd get like, right, we're gonna have like these three in a package, and there you go. It's like, no, we just get the one, and then whomever the promoter is picks like local bands, which are usually completely not relevant to the band you're going to see, which I've never understood. I've never understood that, why promoters are so shit at choosing local acts.
Yeah,
Like, you
no,
kind of be like, why did you do that?
yeah,
There's so many options that would have been perfect and the crowd would have loved, but you chose something that everyone doesn't want to watch. Like,
yeah.
I don't know
You just
whether
get
it's
what's
just
available.
deliberate, whether it's a deliberate thing, like to make the headliner better. I don't know what the purpose of it is, but yeah, it's crap, and I don't like it.
No, no,
Basically.
totally. We were supposed to go to Australia um, in 2019. We were going to go over with Cult Leader, but then like
Yeah.
things got kind of mixed up at the at the 11th hour. But like hopefully provided that the world doesn't end, like we'll hopefully get there like 2021-ish.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. If you can get someone else, let's say like two of you, makes it
yeah.
way, and because there's like three of you, it's a lot
Mhm.
easier. Like, it's harder when you've got big, like huge bands, and you're like, there's 5, 6 of them plus, their tech or whatever, and it's like,
Yeah.
and no one wants to bring them because it's like, I don't want to pay, like, I don't want to too many people, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
But,
we don't have much in the way of overhead.
yeah, yeah.
It's like we're three ding dongs with our backpacks. Like that's it.
Yeah, still got the backpack thing. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, at least you were even though it was Death in June, at least you were kind of a Death in June hardcore guy, and you weren't a track pants, like you weren't a sport hardcore guy.
You mean like these?
Ah, no! Quick, put
Dude.
it down, put it down.
Oh, you got. I wear track pants pretty much every day of my life.
I own one pair. That's it, and I wear them to bed. But like, hardcore was huge here in Australia,
Yeah.
and you would never ever see a hardcore person wearing a Death in June t-shirt. I can tell you that right now.
Oh, you would. That was kind of up here. You would. Up here, you
Yeah,
definitely would.
no, he was like basketball shirt, like basketball singlets, and like the shorts, and the like, like full on, like, and like, yeah, like it, just bogan jocks that you're
Yeah.
getting. And they were all like pretty much homophobic, racist, and misogynist, which is why majority of like the women in the hardcore scene left, because it just got so bad. Like there was like two options. You were either ugly, and it had to be ugly, like make yourself ugly and assimilate the men, or you were one of the sluts that they all gave shit to, but also slept with on the side. You know what I mean? It was like there was no space for like women in hardcore here. It was very male dominated, like, and it was often like, what are you what are these girls doing here? So yeah, our hardcore scene was much more, sport jocks who were total wankers. And then you'd have the one or two like nerdy guy that would be like, in the skinny jeans and the little hoodie, actually like was intelligent. You know what I mean? And then everyone else was ogres, like. So yeah, you'd never see a Death in June t-shirt at a hardcore show here. It was like, it was just like, full on. Yeah, full on. I'm kind of glad it's kind of died a bit here. So the whole hardcore thing doesn't really do much anymore. I don't think it's kind of past its use by date a little bit.
Yeah, no, totally.
Everyone's kind of moved into like, the more post stuff and the noise and the industrial and everything like that, because it kind of just goes with where we're evolving in the world as well. Someone wearing pants with the buttons up the side. Fuck, I hated those pants.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of it's like 1997 Corn, when they had their Adidas full Adidas get up. Like, and all
I
that
have
kind of...
I have two suits. No, I don't have the button ones. I have like the the more classic ones. Greenberg has the button ones
Yeah.
though. Yeah. So
I
yeah,
can imagine
we're yeah, we're a bit. He wears track pants with motorcycle boots. It's the most absurd looking shit. But like he
Oh my
refuses to
God.
wear sneakers. I haven't seen him wear sneakers since like 2008.
Yeah, I
And
don't wear sneakers. I've one pair of pure black sneakers, and they are
mm,
for working out, gym, running. I've never been
understood.
I only wear Vans or like Chucks if I'm going to wear sneakers. I've always
Yeah.
been a bit of a snob like that. Like, I'm always like, track pants are not clothes. They're like clothes you wear when you're doing exercise, or like if you're lazing around the house, I can let it go. But like, they're not
So
outdoor clothes.
I'm with that. I'm just like I'm at a point in my life
You're
where
just like, I'm turning 40. I don't give a fuck.
dude, life is hard. My clothes have to be soft. That's it.
Well, to be honest, if I could wear my pajama pants like 24/7, I would.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Like,
just kind of where I'm at. It's like, what the fuck do I have to prove to anybody anymore?
yeah,
Like with like how I look, like,
yeah.
you know, I'm self-conscious as it is, but if it's like if I'm going to be a disaster, I might as well just be a disaster across the board. So, yeah, I give myself over.
Yeah. Because here, like the like track pants, and then the Nike Air Max.
Mhm.
It's like I'm a drug dealer.
I have Air Max too.
So
Most comfortable shoes in the world.
when you wear them together, and then you have the like some kind of top, yeah, that's a drug dealer. That's how you identify a drug dealer in Australia. Is that they're wearing Air Max and track pants and like that, and you're like, do you? I'm trying to think if you know the same person, but I can't think of the thing, but yeah, a friend came home from Berlin, and you know, Berlin, so well dressed, and like
Mhm.
everyone was wearing all black, and everyone just looked fucking great, you know. And he comes over back to Australia for a month, fucking thongs, track pants with the buttons, singlet, fanny pack. I was like, are you here to sell drugs or what? What's going on? And I just kept giving him shit the whole time. And he was like, I don't know. And I'm like, it's because you come home. What are you doing? And like, and then he's back in Berlin, and I haven't seen him wear any of those horrid outfits since. So I was like, he just, because he lives sort of out in the suburbs a bit, and I think like he just like fell into it and just,
Yeah.
he's like, and I was like, are you? Yeah, I was like, I like your like, you know, your Aussie drug dealer get up. It's great. I'm like, how many people have come up to you today and asked to buy something? Because like, especially with the fanny pack, it's like,
Oh yeah,
dude,
yeah, definitely.
you've got a why do you need a fanny pack? Like,
Dude,
it makes you look totally dodge, like, once you add a fanny pack.
I mean, it's
And
the same thing here, you know, like if you like I think that's just like the universal, at least like that's what like people who sell fucking like dirt weed and fucking like
yeah.
shit like just like, and like, you know, like fucking like, you know, stepped on Molly where across the world, you know, like
Yeah. I'm like, like lucky. A lot of our weed dealers are metalheads, so that's all right.
yeah, that's totally cool.
We miss out
That's very acceptable.
on the dodge.
You know?
But you can walk in the city, and like, yeah, you just immediately you see like a whole bunch of them, and you know that's what they're doing. Like, yeah, I could just walk up to them and ask them for just about anything, and they'd give it to you. I'm like, yeah, it's like the universal uniform, I guess. But yeah, I just love
definitely.
I just love giving people shit about their track pants. But
I mean,
because it's you, I'm gonna, I'm letting it go.
whatever, man. I'll take
You're
it.
too.
Like, I'm very aware of what it is. I like. There's not much to defend.
No, you're just like doing it.
I've got enough other shit going on up here, all that I'm freaking out about. Like, I'm going to fucking wear soft clothes, so at least my physical comfort level.
Do you deal with then like anxiety and stuff as well? Then do you have issues with that as well?
Yeah, I have pretty significant.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So like, and that's such an up and down thing. Like, like I get stuck in a loop. I don't know if that happens to you, but I'll get stuck in like a loop of like the same thing I'm worried about.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So,
I get fixated.
and then I'll go to bed at night and it's like still there, and I'm like, stop thinking about this, like, and it's such a hard thing to deal with, like, really is, because people like, and it's because other people don't often like understand it either and don't really get why like you struggle with shit, like, it's like sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, great, I'm going out, and then sometimes I'll be like, I'm canceling, like, that
Totally.
thing where like the guy Larry David, where he's like, when someone cancels, it's like the best thing ever. It's like sometimes that's me all the time. Like I'll be like, thank God, because I was gonna pretend I was sick anyway. Like, like trying to come up with an excuse to not have to go because I was so anxious. So like, I completely can relate to that 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten better since I've like stayed on my medication this time around. It's a lot easier to deal with, but like I'll go for periods of time where I'll be like, oh cool, I'm fine, and I'll go off of my meds, and then within a year I'll wind up like it gets really dark. So
that's the thing. It's the fake like reassurance where you're like, oh, I'm cool now, and then you go off and you're like, it's
not cool.
No, not good. And it's like my doctor is like, I always talk about like medication, like a medication shame, like people like shaming people because they take medication, and like, and my doctor said to me, I was reading that as well, Informing the Body.
I saw
the Body were good. I saw them as well in the UK.
Yeah,
they were really cool. Yeah, I remember my doctor said to me, he's like, if anyone ever says anything to you about taking medication, A, tell them to fuck off, and B, tell them it's no different than like taking an asthma inhaler or blood pressure medicine. It's a preventative, like, so that you don't have that. And he's like, so you shouldn't feel like ashamed, and people shouldn't shame people for actually taking medication, I used to get it a lot, like people just being like, oh, it must be really bad for your body, and like I'd be like, well, it makes me livable.
exactly.
So but we've been talking for ages. We should probably let you go and enjoy your
2 a.m. here.
Is it? Enjoy your dog and partner, and you're isolating. I look forward to the new song coming out.
Dude, I hope you like it. Fingers crossed, and
I'm sure I will.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much again
for having me. This was great.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Renee, be well.
Have an awesome run.
All right. Thanks so much. Catch you soon. Bye.
Bye.